morning, all. Ira Epstein with your morning flash update for this April Fool's Day. Ho, ho, ho. And it's April 1st, 2020, and we're at 10 o'clock. I am late. We were swamped this morning, at least I was. There's a lot of trading going on here and a lot of things that I know I told my clients to be doing, so I was putting out special updates and the like this morning. You're getting money deployment. Remember that. You're at the first day of a new quarter in the market, so money starts getting deployed. We have Good Friday tomorrow, so a lot of evening up, putting on new positions. What do you want to do over a day that you're not closed? How do you work with that? We're waiting on the OPEC announcement, should be any moment. Bonds and notes suddenly on the first day of a new quarter, well, they're getting a little bit of a bounce here. Grain market's pretty wild, to put it mildly. The market opened up 585. That's a 20-cent drop almost in the corn from its high. Beans down 30 cents. So what happened yesterday, and I'll get to today's data in a minute, in the grain markets, you get your first planting intention numbers. Now, I've been brought up in this whole business for 50 years. So the farmers typically would fill out a form. They'd send it into the government. They see what's going on. And then the question is, during the season, how much do things change from that form? Well, the number of acres put in versus the estimates were down substantially for the corn and the soybean market, so they jumped sharply yesterday. And then logic comes in. Okay, farmers tell you one thing, but they play it close to the vest. They don't want everybody to know what they're doing. These are numbers that can change. The thing that you remember, the traders will look to see how much seed was bought and fertilizer and the like, because you can't get that as the season goes on. The farmer commits ahead of time. So there's going to be a certain amount of, okay, that was the first reaction, but us in the industry, another game. We know the game fairly well. I'm watching what the euro and the dollar are doing. Euro got up to a first resistance point this morning, so I'd be watching that as well. As I said, the stock markets are looking good. Gold's getting a certain amount of, I think, new buying at the beginning of a quarter, but we'll see if it can even hold. The key is going to be what the dollar does, and I don't see the dollar having yet reversed its course to the downside. A correction, okay, but that's about all that I'm seeing right there. In the news, let me get over here so that you can see it all. And finally, I reset it. I keep forgetting to do that. You can now read the news. The Challenger planned job cuts, 30,600. Well, last month it was almost 4,000 more. So that's a good piece of news. People aren't getting laid off. What was bad was the jobless claims. They were looking for this market to come in at a decline of 9,000. Instead, they got a 61,000 increase. But I think the market will look beyond that in America. They're going to say these vaccines are getting out there. But the problem, and you know it and I do if you're reading the news, we have another strain that's come from, I guess it's Brazil and that area of the world, and that's creating havoc again. Plus, we're going to have all these kids coming home from their spring break. You know what they're doing. They're not wearing their masks. That's going to spread it through everything. The great news is people that are 65 and over are really getting those vaccine shots, and once that group is over, they're moving into the other groups. It'll come about. Market U.S. final manufacturing PMI came out 59.1 versus the 59 expected. You're right about there. ISM numbers, well, they weren't too bad. They came in a beat everywhere you look on them, except the prices, which I like that. They're not going up that much, but everything else is pretty good. As we look at the construction spending, down 0.8, but they were looking for it worse than that, at down 1%. I just saw the natural gas report, an injection of 14 billion. They were looking for 20, so that's a little friendly. As I said, OPEC's meeting right now. The IHS final manufacturing PMI for the Eurozone, well, that jumped the most it has since 1997. Problem is, they've shut down the Eurozone again, as you know. France is fully shut down for another 30 days, this time nationwide. The kids can't even go to school. They are smart with what they did in France. They have a 2-week break coming up for the Easter break, so they shut it down now. They take advantage of that, and the kids are only really losing somewhere around a week, maybe a week and a half of school. We'll see how they play it there. Germany's February retail sales were up 1.2% month on the month. That was below the forecast. And the Bank of Japan, their large manufacturers index, was 5 better than the expectations than 0. So that is good. But it's a difficult time for a lot of traders. I don't know. I think the trends are doing what the trends do right now. I want to remind you that I did put out an email to everybody on our enhanced Bollinger Band course. I happen to think it's one of the best courses I've done. And if you're a Bollinger Band fan, as I am, and I'm a big one, I'm showing you things that I don't think most people understand about it. It's certainly my interpretation, my way of working with it. I tie it together with the momentum, and I think it gets you very interesting. And there were some trades today that came about. That's why I'm late today, off that exact scenario. So I hope you take a look at that email. It was sent out to you a couple of times this week. I'm Ira Epstein. I will see you all again. I guess that's going to be on a Monday morning, and that is because of Good Friday. You have a good day. I'll